Today we'll be covering how to repot your houseplants. This process should be completed after you have identified that a particular plant needs repotting. Some reasons to repot a plant are because the plant has outgrown its pot or because the soil is no longer rich in necessary nutrients for the plant. Each plant species has specific potting requirements, so we won't be covering those today. Before starting the repotting process, you'll need to gather your equipment. You will need a plant, potting soil, a covered workspace, and a tool like a trowel or a shovel. Optionally, you may need gloves. Gloves are optional if you're working with a plant you know is safe and non-toxic and that you don't react to upon contact. For some plants, like cacti or certain succulents, for example, you'll definitely need gloves. For others, like a pothos or a peace lily, it's up to your preference if you want to get your hands dirty. Let's get started. First, remove the plant from the current pot. Turn the plant sideways, hold it gently by the stems or leaves, and tap or manipulate the bottom of the current pot until the plant slides out. You might need to give it a bit of help with a couple gentle tugs on the base of the stem. Then, remove old potting soil from around the base of the plant. Remove about 1/3 or more of the potting soil surrounding the plant. As it grew, your plant removed some of the nutrients in the current mix, so you'll want to give it a fresh mix. After removing a portion of the soil, work to loosen the roots. You can loosen the plant's roots gently with your hands. You can also prune off any thread-like roots that are extra long or anything dry and lifeless, but make sure to leave the thicker roots at the base of the foliage. If your plant happens to be root-bound, the roots are growing in very tight circles around the base of the plant, unbind the roots as best you can and give them a trim. After removing the soil and working to make sure that you only have healthy roots remaining, let's get started on repotting the plant. Find an appropriate container, and in the base of the container, if you have a hole in the bottom or if you're worried about drainage or the water table, go ahead and drop in a few stones. Then, put a nice base layer of soil into the bottom of your new container. Pour a layer of fresh potting soil into the new planter and pack it down, removing any air pockets. If your pot has a hole in the bottom, those stones will help make sure that soil doesn't fall out. As mentioned earlier, your plant will have specific requirements, so make sure that the pot and soil you select are appropriate for your plant type. Now, most importantly, add your plant. Set your plant that you removed from the grow pot on top of the fresh layer of mix in the new planter, making sure it's centered. Then, add potting mix around the plant until it's secure. Here we're using a trowel to add in the additional soil. You can also add in additional soil by hand. As you add in the additional soil, hold the plant upright. Holding the plant upright will allow you to make sure that it's not tipping to the side or sinking in too far or rising up above the level of the bowl. Next, pack down the soil with your fingers around the edges. This helps remove any air pockets and helps ensure the plant is secure. As you fill the container with potting soil, pack down the plant, make sure those air pockets are removed, and leave the soil level just about at the top of the plant. Once the soil is tapped down, from here you can even out the potting soil on top, water well, and admire your plant. You will know if you've properly repotted your plant, if it's upright, it fits in the pot, and your soil line is now just below the rim of the pot once the plant has been watered. Keep an eye on the plant for any reaction to transplant called transplant shock. If anything is noticeably off, do some research to find the best way to perk the plant back up, whether that's watering, fertilizing, or adapting the light as needed to your specific plant.